Hello everyone friends! Let's together find out whether it's possible to make a real Napoleon cake with crispy flaky layers on a stovetop. That is, without an oven. We'll be baking the layers right in a pan. I'm making this cake for the first time and I'm showing you everything exactly as it goes. You can find the source link and all ingredient measurements in the description below the video. First, let's make the custard. Crack 2 eggs into a saucepan or deep bottom skillet. Wash the eggs with baking soda beforehand and dry them thoroughly. Add 150 grams of sugar, that's 6 heaping tablespoons. Next, add 50 grams of cornstarch, 5 level tablespoons. Instead of cornstarch, you can use the same amount of potato starch or flour. Mix everything together with a whisk until combined and the starch lumps dissolve. Once the mixture is smooth, add 600 milliliters of milk of any fat content, straight from the refrigerator. Stir to combine. Place the saucepan on the stove. Cook the cream with constant stirring for about 5 to 7 minutes. Be sure to run the whisk along the edges of the pan to prevent burning. You'll soon feel the cream starting to thicken. At that point, reduce the heat to low or minimum. Keep stirring until the cream thickens and the first signs of boiling appear. Then cook for 1 more minute after it begins to boil, so the starch molecules bind all the liquid. If you take the cream off the heat immediately after it thickens, without that extra minute, it will have an unpleasant, starchy taste and may become runnier after cooling. Once you turn off the heat, add a pinch of vanilla or 1 packet 10 grams of vanilla sugar. When the flavoring isn't cooked further, the custard turns out more aromatic and delicious. I've tested this 100 times. The whole cooking process takes about 7 to 10 minutes. At this stage, you can stir 100 grams of cold butter directly into the hot custard. Do this if you don't have electricity, don't have a mixer, or simply don't want to whip the custard. This gives you a tasty, simple custard that requires no mixer. I'll follow the original recipe and transfer the hot custard into a wide bowl or deep plate. A larger diameter helps it cool faster. Cover with plastic wrap, press directly onto the surface to prevent the skin from forming. Leave at room temperature for 1 to 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, take 100 grams of cold butter, 82.5% fat, out of the refrigerator. For the butter not to separate during whipping, it needs to be good quality. Leave the butter next to the cream on the counter until it reaches room temperature. If you cut the butter into pieces, it'll warm up much faster. Our goal is to bring both the cream and the butter to room temperature. That takes about 1.5 hours, which is the perfect excuse to grab some lunch, because I'm already starving. By the way, you guys often ask in the comments how I manage to stay in shape given how much baking I do, especially with summer just around the corner. Everyone wants to lose a few pounds, but old school calorie counting is an absolute nightmare. Scales, notebooks, endless calculations. That's why most people quit after a few days. But everything gets so much easier with Cal AI. Now, calorie tracking is as simple as snapping a picture. Just take 1 photo of your plate, and just like that, the app instantly recognizes the meal, breaking it down into calories, protein, fat, and carbs. No more manual chaos. The photo recognition is super accurate, but you can also easily adjust your meals manually. For dessert, I'm adding a banana and an apple. I log them in seconds using the app's huge food database. You can choose the size, weight, and number of servings. It gives you 100% pinpoint accuracy and complete control. The calorie counter updates in real time. But my favorite feature is the barcode scanner. It makes it so easy to add any food item to your daily meals. You just scan the package and you're good to go in less than a second. Want to get in shape for summer completely stress-free? Hit the first link in the description or pinned comment and download Cal AI. Make sure to use my promo code OLICOOK to get 3 days absolutely free, or just scan the QR code on the screen. And now, let's get back to making this cake. Sift 200 grams of flour into a bowl. That's 1 250 milliliter cup heaped, plus 2 heaped tablespoons. Take 100 grams of cold butter. You can even freeze it slightly. The colder the ingredients for the layers, the better. Dip the butter into the flour and grate it on a coarse grater. Grate some, mix it in, dip into the flour again, and continue grating. Once all the butter is grated, mix it with the flour to form a roughly even, crumbly mixture. Crack 1 small or medium egg into a glass. Mine weighs 54 grams with the shell. Use it straight from the refrigerator. Add a pinch of salt, 1 tablespoon of apple cider or regular vinegar. The vinegar is what makes the layers crispy. Also, add 1 tablespoon of refined vegetable oil. I'm trying this for the first time. We'll see how it goes. Finally, pour in 70 milliliters of ice cold water. Stir together. Make a well in the flour butter crumble with a spoon. Pour in the liquid ingredients and mix with the spoon. Once all the moisture is absorbed, bring the dough together into a ball with your hands. Don't overknead, just combine everything into a ball. That's enough. The dough will be very soft and may stick to your hands. Dust your work surface generously with flour, place the dough on it, and dust the top as well. Divide the dough into 6 portions of roughly 70 to 75 grams each. Transfer the dough pieces to a plate. If the kitchen is warm, refrigerate the dough. If it's cool, you can leave it on the counter. Normally, we refrigerate Napoleon layers for at least 1 to 2 hours so the butter sets properly. But this is an express recipe and we'll bake the layers right away on the stovetop. Take a piece of dough, dust with flour if needed, and roll out into a thin sheet. To check if it's thin enough, place a 22 cm plate on top and cut out a circle. That's our cake layer. See how thin it is? Collect the scraps. Don't throw them away. Turn the burner to high heat. Place a 25 to 26 cm pan in the center. The inner diameter should be at least 22 to 23 centimeters. Heat the pan, lay the dough in, and straighten any folded edges. Cover with a lid and cook for 1 to 2 minutes on the first side. The layer will puff up just like in an oven. Flip it over with a spatula. This is very easy. Wipe the condensation off the lid and cook for 1 more minute on the other side. You can then turn off the heat and leave the layer in the pan for another 1 to 2 minutes to set. But I didn't bother with that and just bake them one after another. It goes quickly and smoothly. The main thing is to keep up with rolling the dough. Use the scraps to roll out 2 more layers. Cool the layers on a rack or kitchen towel. Stack the cooled layers to preserve their crispness. I ended up with 8 layers plus a small piece from the scraps. Finishing the custard, transfer the softened butter to a bowl and beat for 3 to 4 minutes until it turns pale and fluffy. The custard base has also cooled to room temperature. Add the custard base to the butter 1 to 2 tablespoons at a time, continuing to beat at medium or high speed until fully combined. The result is a light, airy custard. Spread a small dab of cream on the plate, then place the first layer. Spread 2 heaping tablespoons of cream over each layer and smooth it out. Continue alternating layers and cream. If any layers warped during baking, you can trim the edges with a knife, which will likely happen. I left a bit more cream on top to level the cake on all sides. I set aside one layer and the small scrap piece for the coating. I crumble the layer by hand. As you can see, it's crispy and breaks easily into crumbs. Coat the cake all over with the crumbs. Refrigerate the cake for at least 5 to 6 hours to soak and set, or preferably overnight. Well friends, I can hardly believe it myself. Such a beautiful Napoleon cake made right on the stovetop. It's 22 centimeters in diameter and weighs 1.1 kilograms. Let's cut a slice and try it. The cake is soft, well soaked, and easy to slice into portions. Each slice holds its shape nicely. In cross section, you can see the thin layers and cream filling. Let's taste it. It's a tender, melt in your mouth, creamy Napoleon. Exactly the way I love it. I want to emphasize, this really does taste like Napoleon, not some other cake. The layers aren't rubbery, they've soaked through completely. I love a moist, juicy Napoleon, and this one turned out just right. If you ever lose power, don't have an oven, or you're in the middle of moving, use this recipe. You can make a delicious homemade Napoleon cake for your family on the stovetop without any fuss, and most importantly, it turns out just as good as one made in the oven. So friends, despite these difficult times, let's keep bringing joy to our loved ones with homemade baking. I hope you enjoyed this recipe and will put it to use. As always, please support my video with a like and subscribe. I look forward to reading your comments. Wishing you all peace. Until next time, my dears. Bye bye.